You are watching On Demand. Please do not try to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Welcome to your final Loose Women of the Week, sending you off into the weekend with lots of fun and fiery debate. It's me, Kay Adams, Frankie Bridge, Judy Love and Denise Welsh. A fabulous dress, Judy, I have to say.
Isn't it?
The other two of you look all right. Coming up.
Sometimes I run, sometimes I hide, sometimes I'm scared of you, but all I really want is to hold you tight.
Yeah, well, the latest drama in Britney's life as her sister releases a tell-all book about her life with her superstar sister. We ask, could you forgive a relative for sharing your family secrets? And it's been reported that One Directioner Zayn Malik has joined a dating app for curvy women in search for love. But are you limiting yourself if you only look for a type? There was a lot of kind of moving about at the end of the panel there. And just after 1 o'clock, she stars as Ted Lasso's love interest in the award-winning TV series. Now comedian Ellie Taylor is turning her hand to pottery as the new host of the Great Pottery Throwdown. She's going to be telling us about the brand new series and why we need to be more honest about motherhood. Oh, well, I have to say, you know what? Is Frankie yawning? It's my first show back of the year. What do I get?
I'm so sorry,
giving it lots.
I'm sorry. You know what? I've had my nephews staying with me, and they are up a lot, let me tell you. I've forgotten what babies
This is
are
not a
like.
mother's meeting. This is live television.
I'm sorry, guys. Well, no one would have known either if you hadn't have brought it up.
I was just going to be nice to you
Excuse so as to
and say happy birthday.
Thank you. It's so weird because I didn't realise you had a cake.
Happy birthday,
Thank
Frankie.
you.
You know what?
Listen.
I was going to say, feel such an idiot because I went, oh, like that, and then you realise that the camera hasn't even come on you and you're just going, woo, on your own and no one in the nation is looking.
I don't know about you, but it's Friday.
Yeah.
I'm in the mood.
Friday,
And now we've got a reason to party,
I
baby.
How
know.
old are you today, Frank?
I'm
40.
33.
30? Oh, my
Wow,
God.
I remember those days.
Baby.
Listen, we've got a very special message for you.
You?
Happy birthday, Mummy! Hope you have a good day. Cheeky.
What did he say?
What did he say?
Oh, those teeth are just
I know.
adorable.
They both went at the same time.
Oh,
bless
that is
him.
so cute.
Oh, love them. Carter chose all my birthday presents today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got me this necklace that I've got on, and he got me 3 little stone hearts, one for him, Wayne and Parker, that I can carry in my bag every
That
day.
is lovely.
But you're not excited about your birthday?
No, I just don't really like it. I feel like everyone kept telling me, oh, 30s are amazing. You really accept yourself and your body and your life. And that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And now I'm 33, and now I'm just closer to 35, which is basically 40, which is basically 50, 60, and
life
next you'll be
over.
burying me.
Hang on a
You wait
minute,
to get to
babe.
Denise's
The
age.
Wait till you're
numbers that
sitting in
we're
the
in.
mad auntie seat.
I feel like I'm already there.
What did Mad Auntie do for Christmas?
I know. Mad auntie had a lovely time. I used to be in Coronation Street,
Did you know?
I did.
Oh, did you? Tell us that story again.
Someone said to me once that I would be the lady in the park who would have a tea cosy on her head, put lipstick around her mouth and go, I used to be in Coronation Street, you know, and I feel that as soon as I'm in this chair, that's who I am.
But you were with Sally Diniver.
Talking of Mad Aunties, Sally Diniver.
No, Coronation Street.
She's, yeah, well, obviously one of my besties went for a lovely walk that she told me was a short walk, and it was 7 miles. That's a long way when you're not
Wow,
expecting it.
In the mud.
Yeah, and she told me it wasn't muddy as well, with Matt Evers. So I had Matt Evers in 2012 as my Dancing on
You
Ice
had Matt
partner.
Evers in 2012.
2012,
There you
that's
go,
why
there's a
he
story.
then came out. But no, I'm only joking. But Matt Evers was my skating partner and friend since then. And Sally's got him, and she opens. It's the first show on Sunday. and I'm
Dancing
going
on
with
Ice.
Angela Lonsdale, so
It's
we're
a
going
brave
to
show to
support
be
It is, and I just, you know, she's terrified, but I think she'll be fantastic, and I think the public will love Sally. So I'm excited to go, bring back some memories.
I know what Judy was doing at Christmas.
What was I doing?
Judy was making love to a breadfruit.
Do you know what I was? I mean, I cooked up a stick.
There's a dating app for that.
You know, innit? I cooked up a storm for Christmas. I said I was going to have a low-key one, and I actually went out on Christmas Day and bought fish and fried it. Yeah, I know. Just
Where would you find fish to
there
fry on
was
Christmas
a particular
Day?
shop. They know what we're like in South London, and they made sure we was open. And I cooked like leg of lamb, chicken. I mean, pepper prawns.
But show us what you were doing with that
fish.
breadfruit.
But I had this breadfruit, and it's like a traditional. I suppose it's a vegetable, and you've got to rub it down. Like with butter, but I was really... My friend was like, Judy, you're rubbing that down, boy. You're giving it some love. I want to be that breadfruit. So I rubbed it down with butter and a bit of coconut oil as well, and then I wrapped it, and you cook it for like 4 hours. Then you peel it, and then you cut it up and fry it. You salt it and fry it.
Christmas
Oh,
Day.
my
yeah.
God.
I mean,
you're
it was
giving
lovely.
Nigella a run for her money.
I mean,
I
honestly,
feel like
description, aren't
she's going to be
you?
getting the microwave out,
I mean, I
whatever
heard
she
that
calls
breadfruit
it.
talk to me. He was like, lower, lower.
And then you actually went to New York.
I did, and God, I really deliberated over it because this had been booked for months when we all thought last Christmas would be fine.
Look at you,
I
racing
know,
line.
and we had a long weekend thinking, do we go, do we not go? Ian and Charlie really wanted to go. It took about a day to fill in the forums, but I'm so glad that we went because I'd just have sat
I'm
at
so
home and
glad
been
you went.
miserable.
Yeah, you
I
Yeah.
would have hoped if you hadn't gone, I would
I know.
I'm still
I'd have
looking-
been fuming as well if she hadn't have
If you're
gone.
worried what I'm doing, it's the cake that I'm licking off my fingers, not Judy's breadfruit. It's just, I'm not trying to
I want
compete.
to try it now,
you
though,
guys. I'm
yeah.
going to bring something that's absolutely
Please
lovely.
do. Listen, we need to talk about the story on the front pages today.
Yeah.
The Queen has stripped Prince Andrew of his HRH and honorary military titles in what has been described as a move to stop his sexual assault court case from further damaging the royal family. It comes after 152 military veterans called for Prince Andrew. Is he Prince Andrew anymore? To be removed from the honorary positions. Is it the right thing for her to have done, Denise, do you think?
The artist formerly known as Prince.
Yeah.
Well,
Some people would say she should have just done it sooner.
they would. And, of course, you know, as a huge Harry and Meghan fan, he was all for different reasons. He was stripped of his military honours, which I never think that he should be because he's done so much for veterans. Anyway, and I've spoken about this before, but I have had personal beef with Prince Andrew. Frankie, you might not know. I've met him on a few occasions. He really, really upset me once in the way that he spoke about his late sister-in-law Diana with such disdain in front of a group of people such as me who he didn't know from a bar of soap. And I was horrified by it because it wasn't really long after. And, you know, I had no skin in the game except for someone that, you know, loved Diana from afar. But I was just horrified by it and I never liked him. And then we had another couple of occasions. So as a person, and also I think that he is guilty by association because I think once he went to, you know, the famous picture in the park with Jeffrey Epstein, once he went to see Jeffrey Epstein when Jeffrey Epstein was a convicted paedophile, that was game over. However, some would say, and I'm being a bit devil's advocate-y, that he is still, in the eyes of the law, innocent until proven guilty. And I think, how would I feel, God forbid, if anybody in my family had been accused of something so heinous and he wasn't given the chance to be proven guilty? I know that he should have reported in before now.
Yeah.
But it's... Yeah,
But I
do
guess there's
agree
a
with it?
damage
Yes.
limitation to a certain extent.
It is damage limitation, and yes, I do. I just sometimes think that people are found guilty.
Yeah. But,
you know,
But the damage is done whether she takes them away or not. Like, let's be honest, the damage has been done to the royal family.
yeah, I mean, he's brought trouble to the door in a big style, regardless of what happens with the civil case, and he might settle, of course. There's various options open
It
to
also
him.
makes him look guilty, I think.
Yeah.
Well, the
is he
thing is-
allowed to just settle?
Well, if the other party is prepared
Accepts
to
it,
accept that
right.
settlement, then that could be an option. But I suppose from the Queen, she is the head of state and she has to protect the royal family, and she is a mother. And there's two different things. She's acted here clearly as the head of state. How she is thinking as a mother, of course, is a whole different thing.
I so feel it for the Queen. It's been, you know, the last 6 months or so. You know, she's lost her husband. There's been so many different things that's happened, and now this. As you said, Kay, it's true. She has to be head of the state, but also we can't dismiss that she must have emotions about how she's feeling about this is happening with her son.
Because he is her favourite son, isn't he? So they say.
Well, you know, I just think any of your children, and if that's the case, it is her favourite son, even more so. You know, having to make that decision is public. She has to stand in a certain way, and I think what is makes it look really difficult is the fact that there's been so much different kind of cases of trying to get him in, trying to be a witness, trying to do this, and it's always seeming like he's just not accepting it or trying to find a way to not be involved, and now we've got to this stage.
Yeah.
So it is where it is. It's got to this stage. We'll see what the outcome comes, but the reality is, for me personally, I really feel it for the Queen.
Yeah, I mean, that tends to be the conversation today, doesn't it? Obviously, in the UK, it's the royal family. I mean, I would also like to just mention the alleged victim in this case, Virginia Giuffre, because this is a woman who, for 20 years, has fought a case against the rich and powerful, which we know that is not easy to do. And for victims of sexual abuse, whether the powerful people are the headmaster, the scoutmaster, the uncle, it's a really, really difficult thing to do.
And we do talk
to
about
pursue
the perpetrators
this
more often than the survivors.
Absolutely. So, yes, we shall see how that transpires. Now, she is one of the biggest pop stars in the world. She's rarely out the spotlight, but the latest instalment in Britney Spears' life is that her younger sister, Jamie Lynn, who's quite a lot younger, I think, is due to release a tell-all, warts and all memoir about her life with Britney. I'm just thinking about you and your sister, Tor, Frankie. Can you imagine a situation that your sister would be telling the world about your wrongdoings, in her view?
No, I just can't even imagine how that must feel for Britney. I just think what a stab in the back for everything she's been going through already. And as far as I know, I could be wrong, as far as I know, Britney hasn't slagged Jamie off to the public. So I'm like, it's not like it's a direct response to whatever Britney said.
Yeah. I mean, I think Britney has tweeted to the news that the book's coming out, and basically she finishes it off with, I hope your book sells well.
Wow. Yeah. But I mean, good on her if that's all she's going to say about it, because it must be so hard not to. And after everything she's been through, like for me as a sister, I'm like, I would be there at my sister's house. She's obviously not well. She's obviously been through a really hard time, and they probably have really different versions of the last
but the other side
however
of it
many
is,
years.
Jamie Lynn maybe wants to tell her story.
Maybe she does, but I feel like money and popularity really changes people. And what are you going to get from sharing these stories? I think we see this all the time, whether family members break up or whether it's friendships, and then after that they want to like disclose all of the things that were secrets and forget about loyalty. Even if someone's done something bad to you, for me personally, whatever you've told me, you've told me. Whether I see you again in a week or whether I don't see you for 10 years. Because I'm going to, at the end, think about my dignity and my character. So I don't need to talk about your business. You knew what you did. You know what you haven't done. That's the loyalty we shared when we was friends. If you broke our friendship or broke our relationship as a sister or family member, that's on you. Yeah. But I'm not going to follow your characteristics and deny who I really am. So I think it's out of order.
Her life, has she? She's spoken about her life, but she's not. I don't
said
feel
about
like
anybody else.
Yeah.
I think it's out of order.
Yeah.
Denise is. What are you thinking?
Because I'm wondering how many times I can use the words devil's advocate in one show. Because on a personal level, I completely and utterly agree with both of you. I have a sister that I'm very close to. My version of my life when I drank and was off the rails will be very different to my sister's version, and I fought against that. And I've always said if any friend or family sold a story on me, that would be the end, and I maintain that. But playing, Jamie Lynn Spears, trying to carve out a career as a young actress, as a very good young actress as well, has been blighted by this very, 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 very internationally world-famous sister who is very mentally ill. And that in itself is going to come with lots and lots of problems. So maybe she just feels it's her turn to tell the story.
What happens to her thinking about how the vulnerability of her sister?
Maybe she's had enough of that, Judy. Maybe everything's been about how Britney feels.
Not Britney's
maybe
fault.
it hasn't been about. It might be Britney's fault.
It's out.
What? She was so.
No, because we both have mental illness.
No, I mean
what would she achieve by that?
No. But
What would she achieve
well,
by that?
let's be honest, there will obviously be financial gain.
Exactly,
in
and
this.
that's when...
But her career has been blighted, so therefore she isn't able to earn the money that she would earn herself. Well, because of being Britney Spears' sisters, that's all people are bothered about. So,
Well, I mean, if your
Britney's
life is
story.
ruined
Yeah.
by success and popularity, I'm glad of who I am.
I might write a story about you now. A whole book about
It'll
Kay
be a
Adams
short
and
one.
her
It'll be a
chewing gum.
short one.
Yeah.
There she's
well, our
been opening.
director's mum Amanda says you do your hair lovely of a morning.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. She's been open and honest about her struggles as a new mum and now wants to encourage others to do the same. We are chatting with comedian Ellie Taylor, and as the deadlines for school applications come to an end, we ask, would you ever bend the rules to get your child into the best school? One of us would have no limits on making this happen. Find out who right after this.
Zoom in on my...
I know that this is not the best thing to hit you with straight off, but is it ever too early to plan your death?
Oh.
That's what it said. According to reports, 30-year-old Ed Sheeran is building a church-like place of worship in the grounds of his home, complete with a burial chamber built for two. Is that romantic? I don't know. From funerals to weddings, Simon Cowell apparently splashed out £250,000 on fiancée Lauren's engagement ring. But is it time for couples to go halves on the cause? Judy is already looking at her finger there and thinking, yeah. But first, it's competition time as the credit card bills start to arrive. Shan Welby's got all the details of how you can tackle these bills with £96,000 in tax-free cash.
Ooh, we want to warm up your winter by giving you the chance to win a red-hot £96,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you'd like.
We've also come to Bickley Primary School today.
So we can give some mums and dads on the school run the chance to win a little extra cash with our pop-up game show.
Let's play Fast and Loose.
Charlene, A, White or B, Williams?
I'm going to go for B, Williams.
Are you sure?
No.
Birds of a, flutter or B, feather?
I think feather.
What with white? I think I'll go with white.
I think he's going with A, White.
You two could be a winter winner, and here's how.
For another chance to win £96,000 in cash, text WIN to 86060. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 786060. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY50 PO Box 7558 Derby DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday the 28th of January at 3 p.m. Good luck.
Best of luck with that. Now I interrupt this programme to tell you that Denise is having a hot flush. What's wrong, Denise?
I haven't brought me fan in.
Look hot, man.
Shall we change the
That hot as a
subject?
knife.
Shall we change the subject? For many, January means filling in application forms in the hope that your child will go to your first choice of school. But how honest will you be? A study has revealed that a quarter of parents admit to having bent rules to get their child into their preferred school. So, when it comes to your child's education, Judy, does anything go?
Look, your child's education is really important. Depending where you are, you might be in an area where the schools are not great, and you got to do what you got to do, boo-boo. I mean, you know, to the rules, your rules.
What would you do, boo-boo?
Look, I would do whatever I can. Do you understand what I'm saying? Maybe the head teacher needs little cake, little fruit cake or something like that.
Little breadfruit.
A little bit of fruit. Like, I would do whatever I can, which is not going to get my child or myself in trouble, but I will push to the limits. You know, there's so much different examples of maybe where you live in the area, the schools are not great, and if they get into that school, then the social environment and the kids that they hang around with really change, and we're living in really difficult times. Or you might have the money to move to a different area. I notice now when I'm looking at houses, it will say what the schools are, the best school around the area, and whether they're like outstanding. And this is a thing that parents are looking at. If you can do that, you can do that. If you can't, then you're going to have to find other ways to try your best to get your child into a better school. That's what I think as a parent, you want to give them the best opportunities they can.
And did you do that for yours? Because that's a single parent as well.
You know, where I used to live, definitely as a single parent, I was worried about, you know, the secondary schools, and then I've moved to a different area. And I always had, like, that 3-year or so plan. I was fighting. I was in social housing. I was fighting to be moved because of my son's health and so on. And finally, when I did, there was a good school near to my home, and I did everything I could for my son to get in there. You know, whether that's getting references, making sure he applies for a scholarship, all those kind of things. And I was heavy on it. And I think I didn't take my foot off the ball, and luckily he got into the good school. But that was me really pushing and doing all what I could, beyond than just filling out an application form.
Wait, Denise, did your parents not pull a few strings with you?
Well, yeah, they did. I mean, because obviously it's interesting that, you know, that what Judy says about the fact that, you know, there are some areas different, people's circumstances are different. With my own kids, we had a choice of really good schools. But my mum and dad, so when I was, what were you then? I was 11, sort of past my 11 plus, and I was meant to go to this particular grammar school in the northeast that my parents, I don't know why, but they thought I might have been a little bit of a rebel sort of child. I don't know why. I don't know what gave them that impression. But they didn't want me to go to this school that they deemed was a little bit rough. And so there was a convent school in Jesmond in Newcastle, which is no longer there now. And if you were christened, baptised Catholic, you got in. So they would take non-Catholics, but you had to pay more money. If you were Catholic, you got in for a much cheaper rate, like half price or something like that, whatever it was. And so I was baptised Catholic, never brought up a Catholic. In fact, once took the wrong turning to go to church because Debbie and I became Christian Scientists for a year. But anyway, but I'd never done communion before, so suddenly I'm in a queue to do communion.
We've got 15 seconds. Did you get into the school?
Yeah, I got into the school. I was 2 years in a convent.
But you weren't a Catholic.
I'm such a good girl. Thank you very much.
It really shows as well.
I've never ever known about a half-price deal to get into a convent school.
Well, it was a Jess convent school, so Google it.
It's not there anymore. Are you surprised? Still to come on today's Loose Women, A-listers Madonna and Jennifer Aniston are huge fans, but apparently comedian Ellie Taylor's dream is to be on Loose Women. We'll be making her wish come true in just a few minutes. And is it ever too early to plan for your funeral? According to reports, Ed Sheeran is building a burial chamber in his garden. Find out which one of us has actually lost a loved one's ashes. That's right after this.
I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a magnet do. Although my heart is falling too. I'm in love with your body. And last night you were in my room.
On Monday, we take a trip down loose memory lane with Colleen, heading back to where it all began for her and the Nolan sisters.
My heart will always be, no matter where I live, in Blackpool.
For an unforgettable tour around her hometown.
Every night our dressing rooms were like this, and we did it. Beyonce wouldn't wish it.
Monday at 12:30 on Loose Women.
Welcome back to your Friday Loose Women alongside me, Kay Adams. It's Frankie Bridge, Denzi Squelch and Judy Love. And we are talking all things love, as Zayn Malik has reported to have joined a dating app for plus-size women. We ask, is dating with a tight limiting your lure options? Coming up, and once you've found love, you might want to get married, of course. Simon Cowell's fiancée has been spotted with a huge, humongous engagement ring, but would you split the cost to get your perfect ring? It is a question that has divided us here. We're covering all the topics today. This story about Ed Sheeran apparently is going to be building a sort of church-type building with a crypt in the grounds of his house. So, Frankie, how would you fancy a little plot at the bottom of the garden?
I just think I'd be paranoid that Wayne was getting ready to kill me off.
Yeah, I know, because it's for...
At the top
honestly, wouldn't
He's got enough room for two.
I know. I just think, I don't know. I don't think there's anything romantic about that. I'm just a bit like, why are you planning my death already? I mean, I'm only 33. Come on. He's 10 years older than me.
I know.
Like, you'll be in there first.
It's a kind of peculiar thing to do.
Yeah. Is it a religious thing? I don't know about his religious bent. I don't know. I mean, no. my belief is, you know, you're 6 foot under. I'm not really bothered. My dad, who you all know that I, you know, recently lost, had a... he never thought he would die, but on the odd occasion that we would talk about it, all he was bothered about was having a big party, which we gave him. We gave him a pink glittery coffin that was wrapped specially. He would have been disappointed that it came out a little bit more rose gold than we'd anticipated, but it was beautiful, and we had a big party. But no, it's not something that that I give much thought to. I don't really care what they do with me.
My mum bought her plot.
Did she?
For her and my dad, and we kind of sussed out various spots and came up with one that she was comfortable with. And is that odd? Because she always talked about that, I never thought that was an odd thing to do.
No, I mean, some people like to plan it, don't
yeah,
they?
it's, you know, it's weird how when I first heard the story, I was like, oh, my gosh, who and why do you want to do that? But culturally, for me, in Jamaica, especially if you're in the countryside, you have plots anyway. So, like, you know, when I went back to bury my dad, you know, my dad, from day I know, like, that's where he wants to go back to. My grandma's there, my granddad's there, my auntie, my uncle. I mean, the puss and the dog is there. Everybody is there in the grounds. And so it's so weird. And you live there. Like, I can sit on my veranda and see where I buried my dad. But I just think, look, people's got money. He's a multi-millionaire. I don't know why we're so concerned with how he wants to spend it, as long as he's not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
And I suppose having that kind of lifestyle, that financial freedom, you are going to do the things that we don't like to think about or we think that we can't do, which for him, he wants to be able to have that place where him and his partner...
He's also so incredibly mega famous as well. He might just want to know that it's all just going to happen
it's gonna
there.
be there. If he moves, it will be a museum and he'll be making more money for the children left behind.
And it's a burial rather than a cremation. Obviously, he's looking for. Like, my mum really wanted to be buried.
Did she?
Yeah, that was... And I like it. I like going to the grave, actually. Really? I mean, I'd be frightened. What would I do with the ashes? What do you do with ashes?
Well, you sort of... You kind of sprinkle them.
Somewhere where they are. So either way, I'd still have to fly back to Jamaica, so thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
Well, I had a bit of an awful moment with ashes in that... It's not funny, but it is. So we had my nan cremated, and, you know, you can get things like diamonds made and things like that. So I thought it'd be a really nice thing for me, my mum and my sister to each have something made from my nan, because my nan was, like, my life when I was growing up. So my mum gave me some of the ashes in an envelope, and I still, to this day, swear that I sent the ashes off to the company, and the company say that I didn't. So basically, I lost a little bit of my nan.
Oh.
Which is awful. My mum says she's OK with it, but she often brings it up, so she's definitely not. And I tried to be OK with it,
Do you
but
think
it's
your nan
awful,
would have found that
isn't
funny,
it?
though?
Oh, my nan would have thought it was hilarious.
My dad would have found it
she
funny.
would have. So, like, you know, there is that part of it. But it is true, unless someone's got a specific place that they want to be scattered, which you often see people kind of scatter them and they throw back on them and they end up all over you. Like, unless there's a specific place, where do you keep them?
Yeah, I know what you're gonna do. You should have tried registered post, though, Frankie. I do.
I know. I should have at least done that.
Yeah.
That's a good point, actually. I could have just splurged on better postage.
If only you'd asked me. If only you'd asked me.
Yeah, don't leave anything important.
Yeah. Basically. So she is a comedian and actress, a best-selling writer who is swapping stand-up for stoneware in the latest series of The Great Pottery Throwdown. Before we chat to Ellie Taylor, let's see her in action.
Lean into the clay.
I think it's kind of working.
Christine, you know the wheel's going round the wrong way.
Yeah.
Turn it round.
No, I'm a left-hander. I always use it this way.
Do whatever's comfortable for you.
I'll try the other way.
Guys, we've got 10 minutes left, 5 minutes already gone.
I can't do it now.
Can you hear how much I'm out of breath?
Lean that left arm in, Miles.
Lock that left arm into the body.
That is not in the centre, which makes it a bit complicated, but I'm going to have to ignore that now because I just need to get some height on this baby.
Well done, Nick. That looks pretty good.
Would you buy it?
I wouldn't buy it, no.
Hi, Ellie. How are you?
I'm very well. How supportive I am in that clip.
Very.
I'm just thinking Judy would be really good at that, because have you seen her with the breadfruit?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Caress it, wouldn't you?
So you looked very much in control, marching about the set there, Ellie. Do you ever get your hands dirty?
I got a lesson actually in pottery. When I was up there, Rose, the technician, gave me a lesson. I had about 2 hours and I made 3 little absolutely rubbish pots. They were so crap. But there they are there. But I was still so proud. I made Rose varnish and glaze them and I gave one to my mum for Christmas.
Oh, isn't that nice? I hope it had mum on the side, did it? I've still got that teapot that the kids gave me. Yeah.
It had my own name on. That says a lot, doesn't it?
That's really good.
Do you know what? That is psychoanalysis time, Ellie, I have to tell you.
It's a little bit wonky, isn't it, that one?
Aren't we all, Frankie? Aren't we all?
Good point. Actually, on the subject of being a bit wonky, I know that you were quite interested to know what Kay smelt like.
Seriously?
Where does this come from?
Wow.
What?
Honestly, to be on Loose Women has been on my career bucket list forever. It's been Loose Women and the Oscars. So you're in good company. And I'm thrilled to be on the show, but also devastated I can't be in the studio to just smell you all.
Do you want me to smell her? I'll give her a sniff.
Please.
Well, I smell the pink icing from that cake of yours that's everywhere.
What is the obsession with wanting to know what Kay smells like?
Who cares?
A little bit
She just
of
looks so
hairspray.
good.
She does, doesn't she?
Smells like hairspray.
Smells all right.
Well, listen, Ellie, it is a shame that you're not here in the studio because your best-selling book is right up our alley, talking about my child and other mistakes. That's the title. You're very honest in that book about how difficult you found the sort of early days of motherhood.
Yeah, I basically wrote the book that I wish I could have read when I was trying for a baby and pregnant and in the newborn apocalyptic days. And it's not a book that you're going to find any useful hints in. It's not like how to serve your toddler a grape or how many hours a newborn should sleep. It's just my experience, which is really a very ordinary experience of a very ordinary woman having an ordinary baby. But I think that experience in itself is so often sort of swept under the carpet because it's so commonplace. But for every woman who has a baby, it is a seismic explosion in your life. And that is the sort of experience I wanted to reflect back and about how difficult I found it at the beginning and how that is very normal. And you can love your baby but hate the experience at the same time. And that's absolutely fine. That's
I think the name of your book sums it up as well, and trying to bring humour in, because as someone who was hospitalised with postnatal depression, I completely get that. And I always say that when I had Matty, I always said it was the best and the worst thing that ever happened to me. The best because I have him, but the worst because it led to a lifetime of, you know, of mental illness. So I think it's wonderful because I still don't think we talk about postnatal illness, illness enough. But you're fine now and you have a fabulous relationship with your daughter.
Oh, she's absolutely joyous now, and I would like to just glue gun her head to my head and wear her as a noisy fascinator. I love her so much. Like, it makes me do that voice. She's definitely going to be in therapy because I tell her I love her about 3,000 times a day. But yes, it's lovely now, and that's what I really hope the book does, is that offer, say it's rubbish at the beginning, it can be, but also just give you hope. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and honestly, in a year's time, you are going to feel like your life isn't haunted anymore and you're okay again.
Can I ask you, Ellie, when did you kind of first realise that you were struggling? And if somebody else is feeling the same, what advice would you give them?
I think you always expect the baby blues. That's what they talk about, isn't it? Baby blues, first few days. But that sort of carried on for me, and I just remember lots of like sort of sitting on my sofa feeding my baby, not understanding how the world was still turning when it felt like I was wading through life. Who was I now? The scariest place I could imagine was my bedroom at night time with the baby. I felt so upside down, and I'd never had any mental health issues before, and I never got diagnosed properly with postnatal depression. I think it's only in hindsight, and only really since writing the book, that I've given myself, you know, allowed myself to say, you know what, I probably was postnatally depressed. And I think if anyone does feel the same, know that you're not alone, and it's not, you know, it's not crazy to think that you might have something a little bit more than baby blues. And please just make sure you talk to people, whether it's your GP, if that's a bit too intense for you, talk to somebody at the beginning that loves you. And I think I got through my dark days by the legion of other women around me who would message me and ask me if I was all right, dropping. Some women I didn't even really know that much, just sort of mums I'd met, people I knew on Instagram, but people who had been there and knew how dark it could be. They gave me little breaths of life into a life jacket that got me through to the other side. And honestly, when I see a newborn mum now, I'm like a moth to an emotionally vulnerable flame. You can't keep me away. I love new mums so much, I really do.
Well, I mean, it's a conversation that we have on the show regularly, and I think it's important that we have it regularly.
And it cuts out someone feeling shame. Sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry. It's just time, unfortunately, Judy, that we have to wrap things up. Now you have stroked us off your bucket list, Ellie. I hope you'll come back when you can come into the studio and we can talk.
You can sniff
more.
it yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, the dream! The dream!
Good luck with the pottery show as well.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Thank you so much.
7:45, Channel 4, Sunday, the Great Pottery Throwdown. Ellie, thanks a million. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lots of love. Bye.
Oh, still to come, we're talking all things love. To get the engagement ring you want, would you pay half? Find out which one of us wants a full bling for free, no surprises, right after this. Welcome back to your final Loose Woman of the Week, as Simon Cowell's fiancée has been spotted wearing a whopping £250,000 engagement ring. Wow. We ask, should we ladies pay half for the ring that we want? But first, here's the competition.
There's an incredible £96,000 of tax-free cash to be won this winter. And like a big warm hug, it could brighten your bank account by the equivalent of £8,000 each month for the entire year.
Now that's worth celebrating. What would you do with that?
Well, if you're looking for inspiration, we've come on the school run to find out what some of the mums and dads would do.
A nice beach holiday. A new car would be nice. Broke down this week.
Get a new kitchen. Finally get someone to paint the walls that haven't been painted, that are left bare.
I'd be going on holiday, getting loads of massages. I really need a holiday right now.
That £96,000 winter warmer has to be won, and that winner could be you.
For another chance to win £96,000 in cash, text WIN to 86060. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 786060. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY50 PO Box 7558 Derby DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday the 28th of January at 3 p.m. Good luck.
Yep, best of luck with that. Now, left, right. Well, apparently Zayn Malik is swiping in only one direction. See what I did there? After allegedly being spotted on plus-size dating app Woo Plus. But when it comes to finding your match, are preference dating sites the best way to do it? Well, Judy, you are our dating expert here.
Me?
You are. Yeah.
Do you know what I think? Look, everyone's entitled to have their preference, and I know obviously within the the app world and dating world, there's groups of people that unfortunately the algorithms, they don't get seen as much. There was investigation around black women as well, and so I think if like this is your preference, this is what you like, this is what you're into, then why not have these apps that you can go into? But I don't think you should limit yourself. I think
that's the thing, you might miss the love of your life because you think this is your type, but actually you meet somebody who's absolutely opposite of your type, but something happens, just something magical.
I think you can turn down. I've spoken to many people about dating, and I was speaking to someone the other day, and they were saying they have to be 6 foot so, and I was like, but what if you met someone that was 5'8" and they had all the characteristics? I'm like, oh, I don't know, and I think that's where it becomes a bit complicated and where you definitely could miss out. But if you've got other preferences, like he said he was a curvy girl, then you swipe on the curvy app and you get what you want. But I think you should still keep yourself open.
Do you think, Denise, if you were kind of on the market, I know you're not, would you be sort of specifying what you were looking for?
I'm just so glad that these apps weren't around when I was on the market, because I would have got an injury.
Repetitive strain injury.
Yeah, I mean, but I agree with yeah.
My name's Judy.
Yeah, I do agree that if you're into a certain type of thing, I would say that I was into men with long hair, and I've married 2 guys who haven't got any at all. So there you go. But I think it's a good idea. I find it very odd that Zayn Malik was with Gigi Hadid and now he's on Curvy Girls app. I mean, wow.
That's what he wanted. Do you know what it is? That's probably what he wanted all the time. But, you know, he's hid it. And now he's like, I ain't wasting no time. I want to get myself something fluffy and meaty and juicy.
Oh, my God, maybe that... Oh, well, anyway.
We'll send him a breadfruit.
Watch this space.
He's going to be signing up. She's so excited.
Yeah.
Next thing we'll be like, Judy Love is on whatever the name of that app is. So we'll be chatting about that on it.
Dating apps, I mean, just in general, I do think it's good that, you know, I mean, for example, I suppose the requisite for me now probably would be in the unlikely event, the horrible event that would ever have to happen, is I suppose sobriety would probably be would be one.
Yeah.
If there was like a sober app.
There must
but
be
then
one.
again, well, yeah, I guess that would be the only thing for me because I just can't bear drunk people.
Well, listen, let's assume that you've met the person of your dreams, and in fact, you have met the person of your dreams, Denise. When it comes to the engagement ring, would you pay half? So Simon Cowell's new fiancée, Lauren Silverman, has been spotted with a reported £250,000 diamond. Would you chip in if you wanted the perfect ring, and let's say your partner wasn't able to afford it, Frankie? Would you say, right, OK, I'll make a contribution?
I just think it depends on how bothered you are about what that ring looks like and what it is. For me, I wouldn't have been. I know it's very easy for me to say with my ring on, but I just think if I was with someone, I personally, I wanted Wayne to choose my ring. I didn't have a massive preference on what it was like. So, and he chose it, he designed it. And I think that's part of the special moment. That's part of, like, that's what... They know you, they know what you like, and at the end of the day, it's something that you're going to wear forever, so I suppose you need to like it.
So you entrusted the whole thing to him, really?
Yeah, I did, and he did a really good job. But I just think, like... but I just think, like, I wouldn't... I suppose it depends on the couple. Would he have been offended if I'd have said I want to pay half? I think it takes the romance out of it, I'd say. And I just think I'd have been happy with whatever he gave me. But I suppose if you're someone that is very specific about what you want that ring to look like and you're going to wear it for the rest of your life,
like Judy?
And you're willing, naming no names, and you're willing to put in that money to get that because your partner can't afford it, then so be it. And I think a lot more these days, like how people are paying on dates, they're paying half for dates and whatever. Maybe more people are open for it now.
Would you be happy with just whatever came, Judy?
No, the only thing I'm putting in is the finger, the flesh for that ring to sit on. I'm not putting in no money, contributing nothing. I mean...
But do you expect a certain standard?
Yes, I do expect a certain standard, and you should know me. And if you're proposing to me or bringing a ring that doesn't match my standard at that time because maybe money's tight, then boo-boo, it's not the time for us to get engaged, OK? It's just that simple as that. I mean, we have enough time. Save over the year. I'm not asking for 250,000. I'm, you know, a couple thousands, little paycheck and thing. But what I'm saying is, look, we as women and as men and we always contribute in different ways in our relationship. And I just feel for me, as a woman, that's the one thing that I would like to be controlled by that partner. And like you said, showing how much he knows me and just putting a lot of value into it.
If you're out there and you're thinking of proposing to Judy, you know exactly what is involved. Thank you very much. That is it for today. We'll all be back next week, plus former EastEnders pin-up Nigel Harman will be joining us for a chat. See you on Monday at 12:30. We're off to have Frankie's birthday cake. Have a great weekend.